Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Down Unders. I'm just double checking that the stream is working right now, actually. It's saying, I'm pretty sure it is. Is it working on your end, Brody?
It hasn't come up on my YouTube yet, but I'll probably get an ad, you know, you and stuff these days. So,
This guy. Double
no,
check,
it
check,
hasn't come
mic
up
check.
yet. I can hear you and shit. It still just says up. See what I mean? Ad on
Ad.
YouTube.
My God, mate. My God. Hey, I gotta get kickback somehow, mate. You know, all the time and effort.
Yeah, fair. Well deserved, but yes, it's working.
Nah, that's what I was waiting for. Tans, thank you so much for coming through. As always, guys, feel free, as I said before, as I said many times, it's a live show. Feel free to jump into the chat. Today we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to get through. Obviously, a little bit of trials, so we're going to go through a little bit of trials talk, our thoughts on a couple of our teams and how they did over the weekend. Then we're going to move over to the State of Origin eligibility. I think a lot of people have been waiting to hear Brodie's thoughts on this. Everyone would have heard my sort of thoughts on it last night on Wise Up TV. And then lastly, we're going to go through our ladder predictions and maybe talk a little bit of Supercoach. So you ready to go, my bro?
Yeah, brother, but you know they're here for you, brother. I'm just part of it. I'm part of the journey.
Do you want to maybe turn yourself up just a tad, brother? I think we're a little bit low. And we should be. But yeah, bro, obviously the weekend of trials is done and dusted, bro. We got another trials coming up. Your thoughts on the trials so far? I know, like, we just spoke about a little bit previously, before the stream. We don't read into it too much, me and Brodie personally. But your boys obviously getting it done before going to Vegas is obviously a real positive note. 28-0. Your thoughts overall on the doggy stream trial, bro, and how they went?
Yeah, it's good to see just the defense working, even in the junior system. So that mic's good now.
Yeah, the mic sounds about right now.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no, look, it's just good to see the defense side of things still, thick in our junior system. So even when the main core of boys went off, we still held the Knights to 0. So it's worrying signs for them. But yeah, still a good look for our boys. So I'll take it. Like you said, though, try mean a whole lot, but I'll take it.
Yeah, 100%. It's good to see majority of boys on deck. A little bit of a scare with Matty Burton there. But I have seen news, obviously, he's cleared and ready to go. Should be for round number 1. Good to see Lockie up in the chat as well. Gang, Brodie quite as, but that was previously. I think he was all good. You all good now, bro?
Yeah. My headset just died, but I can hear you.
Oh, here we go. Check. 1 2 1 2. So sorry, guys. We're just a cold starting it tonight, but having a little bit of fun out here. Obviously, my Warriors going down to the Manly Seagulls, but 33-18. Again, we had a decent little team list out there. It wasn't our full strength squad. We still had probably about 7 or 8 players out due to All-Stars and still a couple out due to injury and that. Pretty disappointed with the boys out there, against a Manly squad that was, running pretty light. But did you get to see the big fella in the middle from the Manly Seagulls, bro? Really good little option maybe for Supercoach coming into this one. Simeone Laafi.
Okay.
Did you see much of him out of the weekend, bro?
No, I didn't get to watch too many other games, to be honest with you, man. I was out and about a fair bit, so... but not too much footy over the weekend for me.
Yeah, big shout out to the Brisbane Broncos as well. I went out to their trial against the Sunny Coast Falcons, so they brought all their baby Broncos out for the Sunny Coast Falcons. Xavier Coates' little brother, Philip Coates, was playing in that game. Beautiful try. Looks so much like his big brother there, so definitely one to watch out for. Shout out to big...
That freaky finish in the corner.
Yeah, nice little, front flip sort of thing over in the corner and that. Big Benny Takota out there as well, running a mark. VJ Semu. There was a couple of really good superstars out there. But shout out to Sunny Coast, bro. They gave it a red-hot crack as well. There was a period in the game. We were watching it from the first end. You go the gates that were closest to the car park. You walk straight through. Rain hitting us in the face. And I was like, you know what? The Broncos are going to be scoring more tries down the opposite end. Let's go down the opposite end. And by that point, Sunny Coast had the ball. And they were attacking that. And anyway, I was like, what am I talking about, bro? What's going on?
It's the curse, brother. It seems to always happen when you're at the footy, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Just quickly here too, Tans, is Leo a big out, Brodie, or nah? How are you feeling about that news?
Big out. When you bring in a signing of any sort and, they don't even get to week 1 without injuring themselves is a big out. So, yeah, look, the boys will be all right. They did it without him last year, and I'm sure they didn't really rely on just having him there all year this year. So, keen to see Toops and Harry Hayes just dominate that starting role now, and maybe a young gun like Jack Todd come in straight away.
100%, bro. 100%. I'm also keen for these trials coming up as well. This weekend, I think more of we're starting to get Yeah, you're starting to get sort of the frameworks of what these teams are going to look like for round one. A lot of different interesting talking points. You know, the Dolphins coming into this weekend having Trey Fuller at fullback, and they've got Jake Avarillo at center, holding on for maybe Hamiso to come in at center. Do you think that's the way the Dolphins will probably go about things?
Well, it's hard to tell. Like everyone's saying, "Oh, Trey Fuller's named at fullback, like lock and load him, super coach." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because Hemiso's not playing, so we don't
Exactly.
know
Where's he going to
exactly what it's
go?
going to look like."
Yeah. Well, that's it. I was trying to think. It's like, oh, yo, does that mean Hammer's at center because Avarillo kind of looks like he's getting pushed out of the club a little bit?
Hmm.
But then again, like him putting at center is like Avarillo played center from memory last year, so
Yeah, he did.
it's hard to tell which one it's going to be. You know what I mean? So I
What
have
do
to
you
wait and
make?
see
What
how
did
that
you
plays
make
out.
of the All Stars game, brother? Are you happy with it ending in a draw? Because I'm not.
Nah, I wish they played that on, eh? Like, what? I feel like there should be a victor at the end of the day. Everything, well and good. Even the way it kind of ended on that mark, it was kind of a bit sour, like 15, was it 16 all?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it should have gone to a golden point. What do you reckon?
I think so too, man. They need to make sure there's a winner. For the fans, for the team, for everything. A draw. Yeah, right. It's fitting for that way, culture wins and everything like that. But
Mm,
no, we still want a winner. We're playing these games to get a winner. You got to have bragging rights. You got to have a team go there and achieve something and get to lift that trophy. Big talking point though, brother. What did you make of Nico Hines? I know
I
he's quick to get bashed, but like he came up against a Kiwis team that didn't have very good halves to start with, like not good,
mm,
but like unpreferred natural starting NRL halves. And
yeah,
then Tamare obviously breaking his leg
yeah,
and
crazy.
still couldn't close it out when you've got the likes of Hines, Trindle, Jaden Campbell, and Jamal Fogarty, and they couldn't
Yeah.
close that game out.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought that Braden Trindle out of the two halves looked like the more dominant out of the two. I've heard talking points on this all the time, and it goes back to when we're looking at the Roosters this year, when we're looking at who's another team that's right, the Eels this year. I'm not too crazy high as what some other people are because like we've seen of last year, the year prior to that, with the Sharkies that having that halves duo and how long it's taken those two to mold in their game. And it does seem like when one picks up the they've got the hot hand, the other one kind of just sits back and allows it to happen. I think I was more disappointed seeing like obviously Alofiana Camprera come to the Warriors, like seeing him on the back of that back line on that right hand side with Nico Hines. I was like, Nico, come on, bro. Like, get some space out there for AKP. I want to see AKP shine there. And it just never went that way. It went back out to Trindle, and Trindle was the hot hand in that game, I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely hard when you come to international games or rep games where different boys come together. You only get
Mm,
that week and a little bit to get structures, so you don't get to see the full effect of like wingers because
yeah.
the back line breaks down a lot. Does this scare you to steer towards someone like Nico Hines for Supercoach to see another year where it's probably going to be patchy, not the best scores from him due to that
Mm.
combination with Trindle?
100%. And even add that on top, bro, of the new scoring system and, how things are kind of dictated on. A lot of Nico's good work comes from creating the number that Supercoach actually gave value to with the try assist. Now, the try assist is going to come through the centers. Like from memory, Nico's best work is to tip on, play it through the center to tip onto the wing. He'll get the try assist from that. And I think he'll digress a tad through those points as well. Obviously, he's a good ball runner, good try scorer, so those will hold up the margin. But as you said, if he's going to be so hot and cold, I can't go either Braden Trindle or Nico Hines for this year for me. I think it's going to be a little bit too much of, as you said, one get a hot hand, one not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think I think the point system is going to change a lot of things for Supercoach, but also I don't think Nico, for me, I can't remember. I think I was running Nico all the way towards the end of last year and how hot he actually ended off with. But I just think there's going to be a lot more changes there with the Shark. I'm not too hot on the Sharkies at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So Sharkies fans be worried.
A little bit. We'll get to that a little bit later on with the ladder predictions. Wait and see how the Sharkies fans go at me for that one. But
Okay.
but other than that, who else kind of stood out for you in the All Star game, bro? I thought Fish had an incredible little game there with his ball playing. That surprised me more than anything. I was like, man, Fish can ball play out here.
Yeah,
But
Fish, bro. Keanu
yeah.
Kinney.
Oh,
Who else? Who else was big names for me?
shout out to
Uh,
Trey Mooney. Trey Mooney, I thought put in a really red hot shift in there
Trey Mooney
too
was solid, bro.
for the
Tellis
Knights.
Duncan. I liked a lot of the work
Mm.
Tellis got through. Um,
Do you see Leroy Lars's? I think it's his son out there. Started the
okay.
game for Multi All Stars. I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, he started the game for Multi All Stars. Good little kid.
Okay.
Cowboys
I
kid.
like Chance. Chance was deadly.
Mm,
And I
mm.
like Britton Nicola, brother. You look like he's been fucking chewing on nails in the preseason. That's how keen he was to be out there. So Britton Nicola honestly will be a lock for what we're about to talk about next in the
I was
coming
about to
few
say,
years.
you just segued me so well there, brother. Britton Nicola is obviously one of the bigger names here for what we're going to be able to talk about. The state of origin eligibility rules have been changed this week, guys. Obviously, major news going around rugby league right now. I think the biggest name that I'm going to be talking about in this one is Adam Fanor-Blake. I think Adam Fanor-Blake completely shifts everything in this one. I love it personally, bro. I think that it's good to see that these boys are able to represent their heritage while also representing the state that they grew up in. They played their junior footy in. The development that actually went to these kids came from that state in themselves. So I can see why they love that state just as much as what they love their heritage, and they should be able to play for 1 and 2. And it's a major win for the Kiwis at the end of the day, and even the English squad. Where these guys can pledge their allegiance to their heritage while also pledging their allegiance to their state. But are you feeling the same type of way with the rules coming out?
Yeah, definitely, brother. Definitely. I think that it's why not, especially when they've been in Australia since that young age. They've been playing all their junior footy in that state. Let them. There's already been flimsy rules in the past about it anyway. So rip the band-aid off and let it happen.
100%, bro. 100%. And like, who are you kind of looking at the moment with these big changes? Obviously, KP playing for the Kiwis, maybe playing for the Kiwis. That's a big one, I feel like, for a lot of people. But then you got Keanu Keeney in that position. So there is a little bit more of this and that. I think the one that, as I said before, just slides straight in is Adam Fanor-Blake. I don't think there's anyone that's holding Adam Fanor-Blake out of that role. Where I can probably argue for majority of these other names that are popping up that there's still guys that are holding him out of those positions, right? I think Adam's the one that just slides straight in.
100%. At the end of the day, Australia still does dominate international footy, right? Like
Yeah.
you've got numbers upon numbers to pick from.
Yeah.
Third tier can probably beat a lot of these other states internationally. They've come a long way. Don't get me wrong. This is not me shitting on them, but like
No.
at the end of the day, that's how deep our pool is of representative players to pick from in any position. You got fullbacks of Reece Walsh, Dylan Edwards, James Tedesco, Tom Trbojevic. There's 4 straight off the bat. You got centers of Braden Best, Latrell Mitchell, Tom Trbojevic, Hammer, yada, yada, yada. List goes on. So the same
Right.
will be with Origin as well. Like Case McLean's a good shout, but he's still got to then get through Stephen Crichton. He's got to get through
Yep.
Latrell Mitchell. He's got to get
Yep.
through Braden Best,
Yep.
Um,
Tommy
yeah,
Turbo,
look,
maybe. Katoni
AFB
Staggs,
probably,
maybe.
sorry?
Was it Katoni Staggs, maybe, or Tommy Turbo, maybe? You know what I mean? Those guys are in front of him as
Yeah,
well.
you got Bronson Sherry, there's other
Bronson.
guys still there. And
Yep.
then, Jerome Hughes for Queensland, which I seen him come out and say he doesn't want to play Origin anyway. He still
Yep.
had to get through Tommy Dearden and Sammy Walker that, why would Queensland try and bleed Jerome Hughes, whose heart isn't really in it, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, at the age he's at, and then push, Sammy Walker and Tommy Dearden to the side. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
That's why I'd be really interested to see where Britton Nicola kind of holds himself, like how he feels. Because I just look at Britton as like, I think he's Kiwi through and through. Like, I think he probably came here for opportunity. I don't know if he looks at State of Origin as his pinnacle. And this is the other thing too, is like, a lot of this is going to stay very similar because I do still think that Kiwi boys or, English boys still look at their game as their international game as the pinnacle for themselves. They don't look at Origin as their pinnacle because they don't have the same love for it. There's some guys that do, but there's some guys that don't.
100%.
But I think Nicola, I'm really interested to see what his thoughts are, but I don't think it changes the teams too much, really.
I think he just loves high intensity games, brother, and I think he's gonna want to play Origin. So
I'd love to see it though. I would love to see it. If you're going to get Adam Fanor-Blake, at least Britton Nicola come through, brother, come through. Did you know?
Guys gonna get him?
I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure that he's looking at our way, but you never know these days.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, shout out Luke Keary.
Hey, don't you talk Greg English?
Oh no! Tan's in the chat here. Haas, Hakeem Haas too, by the way. Hakeem Haas, Adam Fanor-Blake, Barney, and possibly May off the bench.
I still think May misses out if AFB and Barney come in.
Well, think about this today, right? You got Keo Koloamatangi to choose from. You've got Stefano Utikamanu to choose from. You got Max King to choose from. There's Spencer to choose from. Yeah, there's a lot of names there to really be pushing. I think the first 3, the first 2 are definites. Barney, it depends on how he comes back from injury. And then May is just, if he continues on his form, he can push for that, but there's still talking points around that, I think.
You've still got Isaiah Yeo. You've still got Cam Murray to go into that lock front row rotation. Those
Yeah,
two guys
exactly.
walk straight back in. So there's your
Yep.
four already. If you pick AFB, Haas, and Cam Murray and Isaiah Yo, and then you've got the
Mm,
impact of Spencer off the bench. Barnett does not miss out if he's fit.
yep.
That's kind of it for me.
Six-man bench too this year, maybe. I still haven't seen that confirmed with Origin six-man bench. I would say it would be being NRL rules, right?
If you're gonna do it for one, do it for all.
Yeah, I agree. So that obviously may open up a couple of spots in that sort of situation as well. But then again, like, you don't want to carry a ton of forwards off that bench either. So a lot of different ways to see how that plays out.
100%.
Tan said, Nikita said he'd definitely play, but does Origin need him? Yeah, we could use him. Like, I feel like our stocks are coming back this year with injuries, guys coming back in. Like, Heel and Lukey has an incredible year. He has an opportunity to get in that role. Obviously, we got Tommy Gilbert and that coming back from injury. We got, Ruben Cotters and that as well. But an out-and-out right side edge back role, Britton Nikita is the top of that tree. So I'd love to see him in that role.
I wouldn't say we need any other players added to Origin. There's always a good pool to pick from, but
100.
adding the competition pool there and making that stronger and harder, and the urge and fight to want to get that jersey, raise it another limit, and that's what matters the most. So
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. And shout out to Jose. Eligibility won't help New South Wales if Laurie is still the coach.
you're not wrong, brother.
He said, just kidding after it. He's not kidding.
Don't be kidding, brother. You're right.
All right, brother, we're done with all that, but you're very happy with that, chat. Obviously, you don't see too many negatives with whatever's going on here. The only thing I've seen people come up with is, people unrooting their families before the age of 13 to play State of Origin from Kiwi, like from New Zealand and that, which I think is a big stretch in my opinion, but it does happen, I guess. Project Mbappe's, all that sort of stuff. But, your thoughts on that? Does that pull you away from it at all?
I don't think it changes too much when it comes to footy. NRL and footy, people play it for the love. They play it for the passion. They'll make the right decision for their family. Everyone's quick to represent their family, and I don't think too much will change in that regard.
Nah, I completely agree with you, bro. All right, let's have some fun, mate. Let's do some predicting. I think that's what everyone's come here for. We're going to predict the ladder for this year. So the way we're going to go about these predictions, guys, is me and Brody have a set team, where the teams are going to sit, but we also have where they can actually progress to or regress to. So we wanted to give them a good ball range because this year, a team could sit, fourth, or they could have the floor of eighth. There's many different teams that follow up that ladder. Anything more you want to touch on with that too?
Yeah, no, pretty much Ash just hit the nail on the head. So we've both got, where we think they'll sit best, like where their best finishing position will be, where their worst finishing position will be, and then we'll go through and we'll select on our prediction on what we think they will finish.
Yeah, 100%. What's going to help us with that as well is the tier list, guys. The tier list is back. We're going to see top 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and wooden spooners. So me and Brody are going to give you our thoughts on either way we're going to see a team. We're going to go through alphabetical order, and then we're going to nail down between the two of ourselves where we're going to put these teams. So it's going to be a little bit of discussions too, guys, and make sure you jump into the chat. Give us your thoughts and processes that may change our thoughts as well. I think it's going to be an incredible talking point. But without further ado, brother, let's go with the team that won the premiership of last year, the Brisbane Broncos. So for you currently, brother, how are you feeling about the Brisbane Broncos coming to the season, and where are you kind of sitting them in your little ladder sort of spaces that you got currently right now?
Yeah, look, I think they're going to not get as good as a run as they had last year. And I know they came from outside of the 8 to win. Sorry, they came from 4th to win. I don't see them progressing too much in the regular season higher on the ladder. They got disruptions during Origin period. They're going to have some injuries throughout the year. They were pretty light on for injuries throughout the season last year. They got pretty lucky. So, taking into consideration, you won't get as much rub of the green as you did last year, how hard it is to go back to back. And, the Origin disruptions I just mentioned. I see the Broncos probably best finishing 3rd for my liking. And at worst, 6th.
So currently for myself right now, like just looking at probably more of their home game advantages that they have just throughout this year. Like I know personally for the Warriors, we play 2 games against them at Suncorp. So we don't bring them over to New Zealand this year. We don't get that opportunity. We beat them obviously in New Zealand last year. So they get the opportunity to go to in Suncorp. They've got, as they have for year in, year out, they're a team that doesn't really move away from Brisbane for a long period of time as well. So I think that benefits a little bit. But I'm not buying into the full hype just yet of saying they're going to go back to back. I think they'll go fairly close. I think they'll be around about because I don't think Madge will let them off it. I still believe in a little bit of this is the last dance sort of look with them at the moment. Obviously, Hakeem Haas moving on to the Rabbitohs. That is so weird to say at the moment, but guys, I'll get used to saying that. But for me currently right now, I'm sitting from 1st to 4th. I think they're a team that can bounce in between that. I've got to currently sit in 2nd for me right now on my ladder.
Okay.
So you had him at 3rd. Currently, we'll put him in the top 4 position, brother, and then we'll work it out from there, right?
Yep. So you have the Broncos not missing the top 4.
No, I don't have him missing the top 4 currently right now. I don't think they'll regress that bad. I just don't think when it comes finals time, I don't know if they'll be able to mix it by the end of the season, in my opinion.
Yep,
I think they'll be right.
Position overall, I think they will finish is 3rd, but I do see them potentially missing that top 4, but just.
Yeah, 100%. Is that coming more so just from being at the highest high of last year, maybe a little bit of rumblings in the offseason with Hakeem Haas? Is that pushing you towards that more so?
100% target on their back. Their old spine of Reynolds and Hunt get another year older, get another more injuries under their belt. They don't still have great depth in the halves. If one of them do go down, well, if one goes down, it's all right. But if two go down, they're a little bit shot. So, as much as Haas will say that he is keen and wants to go out on a high, is your head really there? You're quick to sign to another team, So disruptions there, the pressure on young kids to come through and take that spot. So. Yeah. For me, I am going to say that they'll finish 3rd, though. I don't think they'll drop too much, but I do see the flex in there to drop to at least 6.
Yeah, 100%. All right, next team that we got up here, brother, we got the Canberra Raiders. So last year, probably been the biggest improvers that we've seen. A lot of people, as us, obviously tipped them for wooden spooners with egg all over our face. We weren't the only ones. There was a lot of people down that train. I think it was just another year showing that, maybe a team with Ricky Stewart doesn't win the wooden spoon personally. Maybe he's enough to get him up. I think emotionally he got him up really early last year. I think he's going to have to do a little bit more work with it, though, this year for me personally. Like Jamal Fogarty, I think, is a decent enough loss to have them fall out of round. I think they're, for me, I got him 6th to 11th. I've got him in that position where, I can see that forward pack continuing on what they did last year and laying a platform, but just the finishing touches won't be there till mid to late the season. But also got it to where, they can fall off, and I think 11th they can fall down to because that pack in the middle is pretty big for me at the moment. So do you are you on the same sort of train as me with that with the Canberra Raiders right now? I think personally I've got them 10th, nailed on 10th on my ladder.
Okay.
But I can see them go up to 5th and then down to 11th.
That's a big spread.
It is a very big spread. I just think that there's a bunch of teams in that position that can go up and down.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a little bit more cutthroat with it, and I'm just gonna rip it off, and I'm gonna say the best I see the Raiders finishing this year is 8th, and I only just changed that. The best I had them was at 9th.
Yep.
And now I've just said, you know what? They can make the 8. Surely minor premiers can't drop out of the 8 without losing too many. But I really do think they drop a lot from last year. I reckon, like you said, they were on a massive high. Everybody wrote them off for the wooden spooners. And Ricky got them up. This year, I think they're going to struggle. I think Ethan Sanders is going to need more time. He hasn't even played a trial in this trial series. He's still not named at half this week. If that's who they're relying on, I'm a little worried for him. So I'm going to go. I've got the Raiders finishing at 12th.
All right. So we both have them outside the 8 currently right now where we stand. So I'm going to sit him with that 9th to 12th right now. Is that about right? I've got him in 10th.
11th, didn't you?
10th.
10th.
So I know that I have them lower, they've only one spot lower than what I said in that one. I was kind of just looking at it as I just predict that this season, I just don't see it as high as what it was last. So I think they're going to more so finish before their floor than they are going to rise all the way back up that ladder, in my opinion.
And if they finish near the top again, I'll eat my words and I'll put them in for the finishing near the top the following year, and then they'll go to shit.
100%, bro. 100%. I think Tan's on the same train as us. 9 to 12 from Tan's in the chat, guys. Make sure you chuck in the chat your thoughts as well.
100%. Let
Don't
us
just
know.
leave us. Yeah, don't leave us hanging talking about all this stuff that we're like we know anything we're talking about.
Exactly. We want to know your guys' thoughts. And if you think we're full of shit, tell us.
All right, your Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, brother, your next team on the rank. For me, I have them pretty high up the ladder. I'm very, very high on the Dogs this year still. I just think the system is what's going to hold me in there. We said it year in, year out. I think that even when we have these regressions during the year, your system still holds a base good enough to get you into those top 4 discussions and stuff like that. So Leo Thompson getting added to your roster, I'm very high on that move, even though he's out for about 12 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. Hopefully he's able to get back a little bit earlier from that. But once he does get back, I just think that he's going to improve that pack even more. I've got you guys nailed on for 3rd on my ladder, but I can see you go up to 1st and down to 5th. I'm really high on you guys still, and I think there's still going to be progression within you guys. Like last year, you led the comp for, not led the comp, you were up to the top of the comp for a majority of the year, right? And it just felt down kind of more so towards the end when Lockie Galvin came in. He's got a preseason now. I think you guys will continue your upwards trend in this competition.
I appreciate you, brother, but mine is a little different.
Really?
Yeah, look, I'm going off more so not that we've gotten worse, just that there's a few other teams that have gotten a lot better. And I don't know if we've gotten that much better compared to these teams, in my opinion. So, and with that said, the best I've got us finishing is 4th.
Okay.
And the worst I've got us finishing is 8th. So I think we'll either sneak into that top 4 just, or I think we'll be in that bottom 4 of the 8. And I don't see us missing the finals. I don't.
Nah.
But I just, like I said, I think we'll finish somewhere in there, and I actually do have us finishing 8th this season.
Okay. Humble King over here, bro. I think
very tight.
Yeah, it is a really tight ladder. And we'll get more into that when we get to like a lot of these teams and we fill out this ladder, because there's going to be discussions where we're going to sit people and all that. I think currently I'm going to sit the Dogs 5 to 8. I know I have them in 3rd, but I did say they could slip down to 5 with, my ladder predictions. You said they can go as high as 3rd?
As high as 4th.
High as 4th. And then, so I think 5's a good little number there at the moment, and we'll see how they sit by the end of all this. Mm-hmm. The Cronulla Sharks, I know I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but they're a team that they've got the ability there. I don't know how I'm feeling about the Sharks. I feel like it's another year, very similar things, very similar feelings around the Sharks. Not too much movement going on with the Sharks, more so lost than what we had. We did our grading on their off-season last week. I've got them currently nailed on as my 8th position.
Okay.
I've got them, they can go up to about 5th position. I don't see them as a top 4 team at the moment, but I can also see them falling out of 8th as far as 10th. It's a pretty decent little run there, but I think they're in that block of teams that can fall in and out of the 8th this year. So 5th to 10th is where I'm sitting with it. As I said, that halves pairing is still not there for me. I'm still not seeing what I want to see out of it. Adam Finn Blake's the biggest thing that carries this for me. Brenton Nicoda, he lost his spot towards the end of last year. Billy Burns and that did really well. I don't know. There's a lot going on there with the Sharkies. Very stagnant. I'm going with that. 5th to 10th for me at the moment.
Yep. I can see it, but I do highly disagree. I think the Sharkies will still be that mediocre team. They'll dominate the season and then fall away at the finals when it comes to big times. They get such a good home base there. They got good finals, good home ground advantage. They got really well-balanced team across the field. And sometimes they do lack a bit of X factor, but they've got more uptick than downtick for me. So I do have them finishing best at 3rd.
Yep.
And I have them worst at 8th. I don't see them missing the 8th.
I think there's Ronaldo missing the start of the season, Sam Stone Street coming in there. I feel like there's a little bit of regression there. Whatever the news around Jesse Ramian in the off season, whatever's happening with that news, there was talk that he was going to get moved on. Yeah, I don't know. So you're saying 3rd as a high end?
Yep, and 8th as a bottom end. On my predicted finalizing spot for them is 4th. But I will agree with you to go bottom side of the top 8.
Okay, so we'll put them under the Dogs currently right now. This could all change, obviously.
Yep.
I've got them nailed in 8 at the moment. Again, it could be just, I don't know what it is, whether it's just a stagnation of seeing them here and here and just staying here and
Yep.
just not seeing that next step and just seeing a couple of teams where I feel like I can see another step, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Same. I can see it too, brother. But like as I said, they haven't lost or gained in the off
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
So I'm keen to see them just build on those combinations again for another season. And hopefully Craig Fitzgibbon can really light a fire under them, take them to that next step because they are well overdue for a finals experience with that team they've had the last few years.
100%, 100%. Moving on to probably the most, I wouldn't say overhyped, but the most hyped team coming into this year, I believe anyway. I'm hearing it left, right, and center. Is the Dolphins. Brother, how are you feeling about the Dolphins coming to this year? Obviously, as I said, very, very hyped by a lot of social media fans, content creators out there and that. Are you just as hyped on the Dolphins as everyone else is?
I am on paper, brother. I liked a lot of the things they did last year. I feel like defense will come this year with more combinations and more experience and more leadership in that middle, which they
Yep,
get back through Gilbert again and Tommy Flegler, Maxi
yep,
Plaff as well. So very high on the Dolphins here. Isaiah Katoa gets another preseason at NRL starting half. You add the strike weapon of Selwyn Cobbo in there as well. So many upticks for the Dolphins, right? So for me,
mm,
I don't see them missing the 8 this year. I feel like they're going to really concrete themselves in the 8 for the next few years.
yep,
I have them best finishing at third.
yep,
They knocked off a lot of the top teams last year, probably the only ones to do it week in, week out, but then they would also lose to the bottom teams, right? I feel like they
yeah.
clean that up this year and really nail away those bottom teams pretty comfortably in wins. I have them at worst finishing 8th, but I have
Yep.
them sitting about 6th. But your thoughts?
Oh, you've nailed it for me too. I've got them 6th. I think I've got them 4th currently. They can go to 4th and sit within 8th. I
Yep.
think they're a team that's going to jump into the 8 this year. I'm high on the Dolphins, but I don't think I'm as high as what everyone else is probably like going crazy saying top 4 straight away, put him in there because I just want to see it first. Isaiah Qatar, incredible talent. He plays incredible football, but just year in, year out, replicating what he's got to be doing and then elevating to that level again is always going to be a big test. It was great listening to Luke Keary on my way home today, talking about like, as halves and how you're trying to replicate and get better from the year past. And it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you do have ups and downs in your career, especially as a halfback, depending on how your team plays outside of you. But I think that team, like just the team list in general, looks like it's progressed and it looks a lot better. So that's why I'm seeing probably about 6th at the moment is where I'm nailed it on. So we may as well. How we feeling? So we got the Dogs and we got the Sharkies here. I had the Doggies at 5th. You had the Doggies at 8.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Sharkies at 8, and you had the Sharkies at
4th.
4th. Okay, so you had the Sharkies a little bit higher than that, and the Dolphins were 6th.
Let's split them.
Split them right in the middle.
Yep. At least that way we agreed that Dolphins were 6. So
Yep.
let's split them at the moment and we'll see where it takes us from there when we put our 4th team into that pool.
100%. Really, I'm really excited to see how Selwyn Cobbo and Herbie Farnworth meshed together. Really deadly outside back there. Isako and Miso. Like the names on the team list is incredible. I think it's just got to be. I got to see it first, right? Like I thought I saw it in moments last year, but then we watched their run into the finals when they held on to that top 8. They could have held on to that top 8 role, and they got beat by 50 by the Roosters. Then they got beat by 40 from the Seagulls. They had a really big shootout match with the Seagulls from memory at the end of last year. So. Still got to see improvement again, but I do think they make that jump.
100%, brother. I see it too.
All right, the Gold Coast Titans, my bro. We're just talking pre-stream and about, the sides that I think that are in that bottom sort of discussion still at the moment because I'm waiting to see how it goes. And thinking that we probably had the similar sort of sides in this one. The Gold Coast Titans right now, I have them the ability, I think they can get up to 10th, 9th or 10th. And probably have the ability to run last as well. They're such a high fluctuation team where I don't know how they sit. I've heard a lot of great things in the preseason though. Shout out to Varney. She said that the energy in the Gold Coast Titans right now is actually really, really good. And you saw that a little bit in the trials. But trials, like I saw the Knights knock off the Roosters by a big margin last year. And it changed my thoughts on the Knights not putting them in a wooden spoon. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait until I see it first. I've got them nailed on for 14th on my ladder right now. But again, as I said, have the ability to go to 10th and have the ability to go to last.
Okay. I love the shake-up of the new coach. I think
Yep.
he's going to bring a defensive mindset, which is what the Gold Coast have struggled with the most. They've got
Yep.
points in them, as you would know, as Lockie will
Mm-hmm.
remind you. They've
Oh,
got
yeah.
points.
We remember.
But I'm gonna be a bit blunt with them. I don't see them making the 8. So for me, the best is 10th as well. That's what I've
Yep.
got written down. And my worst is not the bottom 4. My worst.
Okay.
Sorry, it is bottom 4. Just though, my worst is
Just.
14th for them.
All right. So we're gonna. What do you reckon to sit him at the moment? 13th to 16th right now.
Where did you have them?
14th.
I've got them 13th.
Okay. So 13th, 14th system right there for the current little being. As I said, just right there, right on the cusp of those seeds. Oh, that's cool. Like now we know that there is. I think there might be some different teams that we have in this bottom discussion that we're talking about anyway. So that's really cool.
They can get their comms right with AJ Campbell and Keeney. I just feel like they're way too good of players to be in a struggling side. They're winners. They want to win. They love to compete. Then Tino re-signing on the back of it, or wanting to stay. Sorry, not re-signing. Is huge. So I dare say the Titans are going to want to repay him and keep someone like Tino at the club, and they're going to need a big improvement season. And I think they'll get it with the new coach.
Cooper Bye coming in as well, the young rookie. He looks really good. Josh Patson, another kid coming in, another bloke coming in from the Ipswich Jets. He looked good in the Indigenous All-Stars, more so defensively than he is attacking-wise, but he's a very good player. I rate him very highly. Obviously, Bo Fermors of the world and all that. I like it. There's positives there. I just want to see it first before I can say, yeah, they're a top 8 discussion again. Like the Titans seem to let me down all the time. We're just going to sit it where we're going to sit it at the moment with those guys there. Shout out to Lockie in the chat. Let us know where you kind of placing the Titans this year, Lockie, if you're still in the chat, my man.
Grand final tickets, he'll tell you.
Yeah, he already bought them, mate. He already bought them from the preseason trials. All right, the Manly Seagulls, my bro. Next team on the list. Me personally, not very high on Manly this year. I know they had a great trials against our boys over the weekend, but again, I don't read too much into the trials. They showed out with a lot of good juniors. They got a lot of good juniors. But the first grade squad to me at the moment, bringing him in Jamal Fogarty, as I said before, like it's a loss for the Raiders, but I don't think it's too much of a gain for Manly. Like, obviously, they lose DCE. They're going to go back to a bit more structured football by the sounds of it, with Seabolt coming out and saying that he's a different half back to DCE. Obviously, he's a very structured half. I don't know if that benefits or regress Tommy Turbo's impact on the side as well. I'd say it benefits maybe a little bit, but then all the eggs are in Tommy Turbo's basket again for me. And that worries me about the Manly Seagulls. So they're the team for me. I've got them nailed on 15th right now, but they've got the ability to go from 10th to last again too. I've got a big bracket there, 10th to last. They're more so for me fighting probably bottom 4 than they are going anywhere close to 10th personally.
Manly supporters, look away. You guys are my spooners.
Whoa, we were talking about, I had them spooners recently too, and I was looking at that. Oh, it's a big call.
The best I've got them finishing is 12th. So there is a pretty high ceiling there for what I expect out of Manly this year. And that's crazy to say when you've got a team that's got, the halfback from the minor premiership team last year. They've got Luke Brooks that was a Daily M Rookie of the Year. They've got Tom Trbojevic, it's a Daily M player. They've got Ola Kawatu, who's a rep back rower. Jake Trbojevic, Ben Trbojevic. But I feel like everybody's abandoning ship at Manly at the moment. DCE's gone, Ruben Garrick's gone the following year. They're a couple of head knocks away from Jake Trbojevic being gone and another hammy from Tommy being gone. And as soon as that happens, it's almost guaranteed to happen again this season, I can't really put anybody else in that position. I feel like there's a little bit more uptick somewhere else. And I just think Manly's in a world of hurt right now. So they're my spooners this year.
Yeah, and again, I'm not fighting back on that either because I, for the longest period of time in this offseason, thought Manly might be my wooden spooners. And it's, as you said, it's crazy to think about. I'm just thinking, Tommy, you got all these players. If it clicks, it goes well. You still got, Kohler there. You still got Garrick there for one more season and that. But I agree. The offseason, what we saw prior, just showed the higher ups at Manly really shook things up and it didn't go too well. DC and all that moved on. Obviously, Menstro moved on. Mestrov moved on, their CEO of the previous year. So they've got new ownership there again. But it's still, for me, I just don't see it at the moment. I don't see Jamal Fogarty dragging this side to top 8 of what I could see the Raiders there. I see their forward pack just being a little bit still lackluster. I think Ola Kawatu is the big standout in that pack still. They're waiting on these juniors to come through. So what do you reckon? We'll sit them as spooners currently right now, and then we'll fight it out a little bit later to see how we feel.
100% spooners.
All right, we're going to sit him there right now. Manly fans, hold up. See if I can fight for your boys a little bit later on.
Ashes
I
is
got a different
fighting or
spooner.
winning this one. Sorry, Nadine.
Oh, well, we'll move it. We'll move it on, brother. The Manly Seagulls moving over to the Melbourne Storm, a team they used to fight out with back in the early, late 2000s, early 2010s. So, Melbourne this year, bro. I know they're coming to the season. No Ryan Papenhuyzen, no Eli Qatar. There's a lot going on with that club right now. There's a lot of media around the club right now with the Zach Lomax stuff, and that's looking really messy at the moment. But it's the Melbourne Storm at the end of the day. And year in, year out, I got so much stocks in the Melbourne Storm continuing to do the Melbourne Storm things. Craig Bellamy will still do great things. I think there's still a great team there. Sua Falongo, I'm really high on. I can't wait to see him out there. Obviously, he's still got growth in his game, but I think that still players of Munster, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, Jack Howarth, Xavier Coates, Will Warbrick, you can name them all there, I think Melbourne, for me, currently I've got them 4th. They have the ability to go into top 2, top 3, and then dropping out to probably 6th. And that's pushing it because Melbourne don't usually drop out of top 4 usually. And I think that's just more of the talk around the Melbourne Storm currently right now. So where are you kind of sitting with Melbourne?
Yeah, pretty much agree, brother. The best I've got them finishing is 4th, and
Yep.
the worst I've got them finishing is 7th.
Yeah. So you're on the same sort of bandwagon with me with the Melbourne Storm. Are you just worried more so of just what's going on in the off season and how they're going to fight back for that?
Yeah, I think not so much. I know that Bellamy's going to get them right regardless. The coaching staff down there is absolutely outstanding. I think Ali Katoa is a huge loss. I
Yeah.
think Ryan Papenhuyzen, they'll cover that somewhat okay. I think that's
Yeah.
probably maybe even a benefit to them, so that
Yep.
way it is back on Hughes, Munster, Grant to do all the ball playing. But
Yep.
Ali Katoa, man, is such a strike weapon. I think he's going to be the big loss here. So I do see them dropping just a little, but I also see a few teams that are just getting that little bit better to knock them out of that top 4.
Okay. So you don't have them in 4th right now?
I have Melbourne finishing 7th.
7th. So you're a little bit lower on the Melbourne Storm. I've got them 4th right now. So what we'll do, we'll put them in
go
this 5th
5th.
to 8th. Yep. We'll put them here. Oh, the dogs don't want to move over, brother. The dogs don't want to move over.
Stubborn.
We'll put them there in the 5th, and we'll discuss it a little bit more because it's wild. Melbourne seeing outside the top 4 is just wild for me, but I completely understand it with the off season that they've had. It's just a bit of a worrying signs, but it's Melbourne too, so we're playing with that. My New Zealand Warriors, baby, coming to this year. Obviously, the little bit of worry around the Warriors right now is our halves falling. Right now, if Tanner Boyd falls on the weekend, we'll be out we'll be on our 4th string half, I think. Tamati Martin gone, Luke Metcalf gone, till later in the season, obviously. We got Jai Lanane, Jet Cleary still out with injury. There's a lot of, going on there. Shino Harris-Tavita is currently fighting off a calf injury. He should be back round 1. I still think we're a good enough team to stay in within the top 8. I think our system is good enough to keep us, very stock standard again this year. I've got us an ability, if everything comes together, that I think it could when Metcalf comes back. I've got us the ability to go up to 5th. I don't think it's a top 4 team at the moment. And I've got this ability to fall out of the 8 as well. We're right in that mixture of teams to go in upwards, close to top 4, but fall out. I've got us nailed on for 7th right now. I'm just praying that Metcalf comes back. He's ready to go. Everything goes well. But that's definitely a big pray because he's come back from an ACL. But I'm still very high on my boys and assistant that we carry. So that's where I'm sitting as the 7th right now.
Yeah, look, love the system. If the boys were fit, ready to go round 1, like Barney, Luke Metz, had a full preseason under their belt, everything, I would be saying lock and load, you boys best to finish top 4, like 3rd, 4th, and worst to finish is probably 8th. But with the late start to the season, how tight this 8 is, I feel like a couple of those few rounds, you'll drop some games that are going to be key in the back end.
Agreed.
So the best I've got you guys finishing is that 5th, but the worst I've got you guys finishing is that 10th, just depending on how those boys come back from injury.
You nailed it for me, bro. That's the same sort of thought process. I'm hoping that Fish and Barney obviously come back. They're ready to go. Our juniors obviously continue to step up, Leckers of the world, stuff like that. But right now, nailed on. So what do you got nailed on right now?
Well, adding those injuries, brother, and then obviously the travel schedule you guys always get hit with. It takes away recovery days. It takes away the boys getting their bodies right. I've got you guys finishing ninth.
Okay, so we got the 5th to 8th and the 9th to 12th. I've got a 7th, you got us ninth, right on the 8 right now.
Right on the 8, yeah. I just go there, brother, and we'll
And then
see
we'll
if
figure
we
out
can
how
argue
this
to drop
plays out.
somebody out. But I
Okay.
just don't see it.
Okay. All right. We'll see how we go. Because we still got a top 4 to fill out here, brother. There's teams coming. We'll have to see how that goes. But the Newcastle Knights, is this going to be the team for the top 4 that you've been waiting for, bro? How you feeling about Newcastle right now?
Yeah, look, definitely not. To score not a single point against the Doggies on the weekend is just worrying signs. You can play it off like Dylan Brown did in the interview saying, yeah, we're good. We got our comms. We're going to be sweet. It's not signs of a sweet team when you nailed nearly everybody out there except KP.
Hmm.
Yeah, not too high on the Knights at all. The best I've got them finishing is 11th, and the worst is the Spoon.
I've got him 12th or the Spoon. That's where I'm like that range for me. What was your thoughts on Dylan Brown playing the opposite side as well?
I think that's just going to be a bit of a trial run. I feel like you'll see Dylan Brown play a lot of the field.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For me, it
Well,
was a little
I
bit of a
hope,
worry.
as a fan, I hope we
Yeah.
see Dylan Brown get free reign.
Yeah, because it's like it just opens up. I heard so I wanted to bring this up again. Luke Keary is speaking a lot of great things on the buy round. So shout out if you want to go check out the podcast, guys. Go check out the buy round with James Graham. But he was saying that two teams he was worried about in that sort of sense, the Cowboys and the Newcastle Knights. And he said that what it feels like is the coach is still hedging their bets on the halves pairing. So he said he put Dylan Brown on that side just in case if Sandon Smith don't work out, he can quite easily push Sandon Smith out of that jersey and put in
Campbell,
Fletcher Sharp into
Fletch.
that 6 jersey and play a 6 and 7 of Dylan Brown and Fletcher Sharp. The Cowboys very similar. He's got Dearden playing the opposite side. So he's got the ability to play Clifford there. And if he don't work, Purdue comes in and he can play in the 6 jersey. So
They're
it's
just
like the
giving those
coaches,
guys a fair crack at.
they're,
Yep.
they're not really going all the way in and saying, you're the guy and whoever's going to play outside of you is going to fill out the position because both those guys notoriously play on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
He's
gotcha.
kind of more so saying your talent's good enough to play on the opposite side to help out ease these young kids into that opposite role.
Yep, and to give them no excuse if they shit the bed in trials and don't prove anything. You're on your dominant side. You've got the fair run. Make
Yeah.
it work, or we're just going to switch them. Yeah.
And what that worries me about is that Newcastle
Merry-go-round.
Knights merry-go-round. We can't have it again, bro. We can't have it again.
You got to have something in Newcastle that's attracting people to come. So it may as well be a merry-go-round, eh?
Bro, their fairs have just got merry-go-rounds left, right, and centre. The little horses going up and down while they're the Newcastle Knight on the horse. Crazy.
Joey Johns does, brother, when he's on the good gear.
Shout out Joey.
We're
So
gonna
you,
We're going to go 14th for the Knights, I reckon.
I've got him nailed on 16th right now.
Chuck them at behind the Titans at least. Let's go.
All
with
right.
that.
We'll do that 100%. I'm just, yeah, Newcastle aren't showing it for me. And that forward pack, bro. It's not there. It really isn't there. It really isn't.
Not in the
All right.
modern day game, brother.
Nah, I just don't see it, eh? Trey Mooney's going to have to do some heavy lifting, in my opinion.
Maybe you can.
Maybe he could. Moving on to the North Queensland Cowboys, the other side I was talking about, the A and B side there to this one. The Cowboys, I'm a little bit higher on because I feel like the team they have on paper is still good enough to do what they are, and they go up and down every year. So it's really hard to predict the Cowboys. They're probably the better Gold Coast Titans for me. It's like, their best can go all the way in the top 8, but their worst can look absolutely shocking. I've got them nailed on to 12 for me right now with the ability to go to top 8, just on 8. And then the ability to go to 13th. So I put them on the lower end of my scale at the moment at 12th. Just because the other teams that I have above them, I'm just feeling a little bit more at the moment. But your thoughts on the Cowboys?
Yeah, you've just summed it up for me, brother. I've same exact points. The ceiling
Yeah.
is so high for the Cowboys, but the low is so low. So
Yeah.
I've got them sitting 11th with their best position being 8th and their worst being 15th. So everything you've just said, bro, they're on paper. They've got representative players left, right, and center. They get the heat in their advantage when they're up in Townsville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get a lot go their way. Fans won't tell you that, but they do.
Yep.
And yet they just can't seem to put it all together. So I'm starting to think Toddy Payton's not the man there, but I'm happy to lock and load Cowboys in that 11th position or that ninth to 12th.
And it's really hard to go off there. Like, I know we don't read into trials too much, but it's really hard to go off their trials because they played the Dogs team that barely carried anyone. And then when they brought off their juniors, they didn't really step up to the plate. The Dogs came back on them on that point. Even though their first grade players dominated early on, they pull them off and it's not there. And the Panthers squad, they just absolutely trunts. But the Panthers squad they ran out there, honestly, is a BC grade Panthers. Like, we're going into like Ron Massey players and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's not even their full cup team. So, but it looks slick. Like, I like what Reed Marnie was doing out of dummy half. I thought he looked really good in that position there. I think he connected with these halves really well. They got to go Clifford and Dearden for me right now. I think Purdue's got to wait his turn if he's going to get into a half, maybe even fullback later on. But there's the ability of that half merry-go-round as well that could throw everything up, which it did last year for them as well. So, yeah, they're going to sit him right behind the Raiders there currently and with the ability to move down when we get more teams on this ladder.
Yep.
The Parramatta Eels, brother. The Parramatta Eels.
One of those teams. This is one of them.
100%. This is a team that, as I said, this is the reason why I have a block of teams that can go top 8 and drop out of the top 8. I've got them currently nailed on for the 11th position, the ability to go up to 6th, and the ability to sit at 11th. Again, I'm not as high as what everyone's saying with the halves pairing of Pezzett and Moses. Moses has the ability to go down the injury, and I think that probably opens things up to have Pezzett in halfback, and that probably helps him a little bit more in those moments. But I just, it's so tough to really predict where these guys are going to sit. That's where I've got them right now, personally. How are you feeling about Parramatta? Like, Zach Lomax leaving, they haven't filled his boots just yet. Like, where are you sitting?
The best for me would be 9th.
Yep.
I don't see them cracking the 8. I don't think Moses is that much of a miracle maker. And the worst for me is 13th.
Okay.
All right. So I have them sitting currently in 10th.
Yep.
I think that's where they'll finish. You said 11th. So
yep.
I would happily maybe split them there between Canberra and Eels. Where did you have Canberra finish again?
I had Canberra 10th.
Maybe go the Eels in front of them.
The Eels right here?
No, I think Canberra's still maybe just the engine room is just that bit better.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting at.
And some respect from last year's minor premiers, right?
So I've got the Cowboys behind the Parramatta Eels on my ladder. Have you got the Cowboys above the Parramatta Eels on your ladder?
I have the Cowboys behind one position.
Yep. Beautiful.
On my ladder, I have the Raiders behind both of them, though. But looking at it and talking about it, I feel like the Raiders have a little bit more to offer than these two teams just on defense alone and grit alone. They won't roll over in a contest.
No. And shout out to Parramatta. It still looks bright, sunny days. Like, your team looks like it's growing and everything like that. Just Lomax leaving. There's a little bit like left to be desired there too. You know, the Raiders with a rookie halfback, honestly, these two are interchangeable for me. So it's like, it's right there. It really is right there.
If I was to ask you, who's Parramatta's back rower starting next year?
Well, I know Jack Williams is front row. Trying to think of who they've been running. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no. Nah.
They might be, but you can't think of them. They don't. It's not, oh, fuck, it's Ali Katoa. Oh, fuck, it's Jacob Preston. It's, oh, shit, who is playing back row? Like, their front row, don't get me wrong. Jack Williams, Paulo, I like that. Hop good at lock. I like that. But the back row strike and their bench is still a little bit how you going for me.
Left to be desired, yeah. Kartonga, he's at Parramatta still, right?
I think so. But again, is that concrete that he's got one of those spots?
Exactly.
Worried too much?
Yeah.
So...
And then when you talk about the Raiders, you've got Matty Nicholson, you've got, Zach Hosking, Hudson Young, you've got Simi Sasungi, like Tarps. The names for, Tarps. That forward pack is crazy. Horsburgh, Papali'i. Oh, gnarly. Yeah, I like that. We'll sit it there for now. And, the more teams come in, we continue to move. We got the Penrith Panthers, my brother. Obviously, I want to keep this short, sweet, and simple. Everyone knows my view set on the Penrith Panthers this year. I think they're going to take it out. I've got they're currently sitting first, and nailed on. I've got the ability to finish first or fourth, first to fourth. I think that's pretty much for me for the Penrith Panthers. What are you feeling?
Lock and load, brother. I'm the exact same.
Yeah, I think they're honestly the team to beat this year. I'm excited to see what they can produce. Obviously, Casey McLean left a lot to be desired over the weekend, but I still see him in that system just being too hard to beat. Brian Toto, Nathan Cleary, say less.
Yep, I couldn't agree more, brother.
Beautiful. The South Sydney Rabbitohs, one of the big talking points in the offseason, obviously recruitment-wise, Dave Fafita and all that come over, improves their stocks tenfold. If they're injury-free, ready to go, they're a team to watch out for. I've got them nailed on to 9th right now. I don't have them at 8 right now.
Shit.
That's going off the back of who's the halfback? Can Cody Walker stay injury-free? And, well, can the team stay injury-free for me? There's still the ability for this team to fall off. But I've got them the ability to go up to 5th and to go down to 10th. I don't see him falling too far out of away from that 8 discussion. I don't see him in top 4. I don't see him just there yet. I want to see it first. That's the thing with the Rabbitohs, because I've been so high on them previously and they've let me down the last couple of seasons. And I know injuries, they can come and go, but for this team year in, year out at the moment, and we're seeing in the offseason again, injuries again, I don't know. It's very similar to what I thought. Who was the team that were thinking about injuries prior? The Manly Seagulls are, with injuries. You know what I mean? Like, it's still left to be decided. But how are you feeling about the Rabbitohs? You're obviously very high on them?
I don't have them missing the top 4.
Hey, you got them top 4 nailed on.
Yep.
You think Trell will stay healthy?
I'm gauging off them being healthy.
Yep. Yeah. So healthy, flat track, like they're on. 100%. I agree with you on that sense.
Wayne Bennett coached squad. He's got the team. He's got to get them injury free. He's got no excuses.
Yeah.
I just think it's only wonders from here. Cam Murray come back, a leader, really level-headed guy. You got Humphreys as their lock and load halfback. So,
I
yeah,
don't
Cody
know.
Walker, fresh with him.
There's rumors that he's on off. He's in interchange, and that Bud Sullivan's jumped in, but he's got an injury. Ashton Ward even might have jumped him in the halfback ranks at the moment too.
I think Humphreys is lock and load if he's fit and ready to go. I do.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know what these rumors are thinking Bud Sullivan's above him. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I'm locking loading Humphreys and Cody Walker at 5'8". One of those go down. Jack Whiten goes to 5'8", without a doubt.
Can I change your mind with, I feel so much more sturdier that the Dogs, with the system that they have, are a top 4 team than the Rabbitohs have that inconsistency of the years that they've had past.
Yeah, I can see it 100%.
Birdo at 6, Viliami Kikau, Stephen Crichton, consistent players that don't get injured. I know Birdo's carrying this hamstring injury, but the consistent players that turn in week out, I know what I'm going to get from the Dogs. I don't know what I'm going to get from the Rabbits. I know that their team list looks incredible. Dave Fafita, we're still yet to see if he's going to go back to the Dave Fafita we all hope, pray he can be.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that can carry an ankle injury as well that he had trouble with last year with surgeries, multiple surgeries that he had to redo. So
yeah.
I'm just not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Okay. I see it. I do see it. But I can counteract with, what you're going to get from the Doggies can being a bad thing as well. And when it comes time to really go for the win and try and get across the line and they'll come up short. Whereas the Rabbits, they will pull that win out like they have in the past. Like they dusted us in that 2012 when we were the favorites to win that 2012 or 2014, one of the two. Yeah, and they did us. So I think the same. They've got a lot of X factor. I think they can get the job done to be a top 4 squad. But I do like your arguments, and I'll reconsider and put them 5th.
Yeah, I was going to say 5th. We'll hold them in this bunch right here, and we'll finish it off at the end of the video with trying to push these guys to top 4 because we need to fill out our top 4, obviously.
Yep.
And I can already see one more team that we have here that should be, I feel like, around about those sort of arguments as well, who I don't. Yeah, we'll get to that soon. The Dragons. The St. George Illawarra Dragons. I'm worried. My argument, nailed on right now, I've gone for my wooden spoon. I don't feel right about it either because in my head, it's a similar argument that I had with the Raiders. I don't see Shane Flanagan get a wooden spoon, but I also didn't like what I've seen out of the offseason, and I just don't know. I'm just not there yet. Like seeing the improvement out of the side just yet. I know they've been a tough team to beat last year, but they also didn't really have that high upside that we're kind of hoping for them to push into those realms of going 9th to 12th, stuff like that. So I got them best finishing 12th and, worst finishing last.
Their trial was absolutely mud. Let's start with that. Yeah. But I think they'll come with that hard edge again as they did in the early preseason last year. I think their future is very bright, the Dragons. They've got so many good youngsters coming through. But
Yep.
you're right. I don't see it there yet. I've got the Dragons finishing best at 13th, and
Yep.
worst is Spooners. But I can't go past Manly. I think the Dragons have a little bit more upside than Manly. I think Manly are
Okay.
one good injury away from their season being a write-off.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, you can sway me with the argument of, all right, so the reliance, so Tommy Turbo goes out for Manly. They've still got Fogarty to kind of steer the ship a little bit and just put in Lehigh Alpawati, and he can kind of replicate, not go to Tommy's level, but he can replicate the Dragons. They lose Atkinson. It just doesn't,
King
I don't know.
Tonga
King Tongia, yeah.
still got Flano. You know, they did it last year and they didn't get the spoon.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So
Yeah. I think you sold it enough for me to sit them above the Manly Seagulls for now. I think they're my second last team.
Point flip. You know, Tommy could have a brainer of a season and push Manly right into top 8. So
100%. It's tough to go with.
Unlikely, but
Yeah.
I think the chance for the Dragons are slightly higher to get away with it than Manly.
And that's the consistency gain, I guess, right? Like when we're looking at the Rabbitohs and the Dogs prior to that, I think more consistent wise, I think the Dogs will get there more so than the Rabbits. But the Rabbits have the upside of winning a comp. Like they can go put it all together and just dash the comp, get top 4.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Manly Seagulls are very similar. It's like they can dash the comp, get top 8 and look killer, but they could also fall into an absolute heap. And I don't see DCE pulling him out of it this year. It's going to be all on Tommy and he could be on the sideline.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Where'd you nail on the Dragons to, by the way?
Where?
Yeah.
I had them 16th.
Okay. So, yeah, we're about the same. Yeah, I've got them 17th. So just jumping them up
and
there.
Manly 16th.
And Manly 16th. So I had Newcastle 16th and I had Manly 15th.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're happy with Manly at Wooden Spooners for us?
These 3 teams have been interchangeable for my wooden spoon this year, to be honest, brother. I started the season saying Newcastle, then I shifted to the Dragons and Manly, then Manly to the Dragons. I'm 50-50 on both.
Okay.
Or 50, not 50. All 3 of those teams for me have the ability to go wooden spoon this year. They're my
100%.
locked in bottom 4.
I agree. They're my 3 teams that I've got tipped for Wooden Spoon as well. Who do you want to lock in?
I'd feel more comfortable locking in. We'll go. So Dragons, they got Valentine Holmes. They've got young forward pack. Their forward pack better than Manly?
I think yes.
Yep.
Other than Olakuatu,
definitely.
he does a lot of the heavy lifting for Manly. Other than that,
Gutho.
I don't like their forward pack.
Gutho's serviceable.
I don't like their hooker.
Yeah.
I don't like 5'8".
For Manly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Fogarty and I like Tommy.
Yep.
And then for the Dragons, I like Gutho, I like Little, and I like Atkinson. There's a lot of pros and cons here.
I know. Then I go to coaches, and I think Seabold's more likely to cop a wooden spoon than Flano.
So. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's probably what's pushing me to agree with you here with the Manly Seagulls.
Yeah. I don't like the halves of the Dragons at all, though, other than
Shout out to the chat's going crazy as well. Kyle Flanagan, big question mark from Jose.
Yeah.
Tan said, obviously, Atkinson.
All right. So we're ruling the Knights out of Wooden Spoon. Let's put the Dragons down there with them for now, with Manly.
Yep.
I think the Knights will be safe enough. I think they'll win enough games. I feel like Dylan Brown with KP, Dylan Lucas, Brady Best, Gags.
They're too high caliber. Yeah, they're too high caliber. When I'm looking at the other sides, Tommy's the big standout, all the other sides, but everyone else is kind of still very mediocre to high for me, if that makes sense.
Yep, I agree. And you're right. The chat is going off.
Love you guys in the chat too, by the way. Ryan Couchman is back for the Dragons. But again, coach, Couchman boys back on deck, Setu too. But yeah, Manly, we'll get back to that. Let's go to the top.
A lot is that trial from the Dragons was so disgraceful. So disgraceful. Yeah. But Flano won't stand for that shit. Whereas I feel like Seabold would roll over a little bit if it's going tough for Manly. And
it could be a coach shake-up if Manly don't get it together. You know what I
And
mean? I
then,
don't know how
we've
nailed
seen
on
how
he is
that
there.
goes for seasons as well,
E
sacking the coach
ex
halfway.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there at Manly, bro. I just feel like they're a team that's going to bite us in the ass for saying wooden spoon. They're the Raiders of last year, but also like there's so many reasons why they are here where they are.
I'm
There
picking
really is.
Tommy an injury and leaving Manly in my wooden spooners.
Okay, all right. I'm going to follow you in on that. I'll follow you in
You
on that.
happy?
Yeah, because like thinking about it last year as well, Shane Flanagan had the Dragons to losing games 1-6
Oh,
too many times the last year. I think them and us were the closest sides to win on those
yep,
tight margins. So they had the ability to get close to the 8 last year if they actually picked up a lot of those games. So
I think so. I think we leave them not getting the wooden spoon. Just.
yeah, all right, they're just missing the mark, Dragons fans, but
I like
you're
it.
on notice. All right.
They are on notice.
They are on notice. The Sydney Roosters, brother. Again, a team that comes with a lot of hype. For me, I want to see it first. You might think this is crazy. I got them missing the top 4. Only just.
Don't have them missing the top 4.
Okay, I've got them 5th right now, nailed on. I think they got the ability to go 3rd and the ability to go to 8th. I don't think they miss out on top 8 this year.
I have them finishing 2nd.
So you got them really, really high. You're very
Yeah.
high on the Roosters.
Yeah.
DCE is and Reece Robson. Reece Robson more so to DCE.
DCE, just they started the season with injuries last year, right? And they still made a pretty good finals run.
Yeah.
Have still Teddy, Robert Toya, Daniel Tupou, Marky Mark,
I know.
Sammy Walker, add Cherry Evans. You got Nafahu White, who had a brainer of a season last year. He's back
Yep.
again. He's going to have another good season. You got Lindsay Collins. You got Reece Robson. You got Connor Watson, Victor Radley, Angus Crichton. The bench that they've got still in Blake Steep. Yeah, the list goes on. I think they will get it right this year.
Yep.
And I think they will be a force to stop this year. I really do. I can't see them missing the top 4.
Yeah. I'm just hung up on that halves pairing. I've seen too many chefs in the kitchen. I see a coach that notoriously has had star-studded players ever since back in those early days that went back to back. He got it done in that period there. But I don't see DC as Cooper Cronk though, if that makes sense. And then adding on top of that, since he's had these duels of incredible players, I feel like other than last year, I feel like last year he'd probably sit where the Roosters team list probably was more so. But previous to that, for me, he's never Robinson never got him to the position where I thought the Roosters were needing to be, if that makes sense. And I still feel the same way about the Roosters. Like
Yeah, they had a rough start at the start of the season though, with injuries, and to still
last
make the
year,
finals.
and
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I'll give to you last year that they played to where I feel like the Roosters should have been. They probably they got to a position higher than what I thought the Roosters could get to last year. But year prior to that, it's a Joey Manu's and that on deck.
Yeah.
They just, 7th, 8th?
Yeah.
They just scraped through year onto that. Again, they had injuries, but I just feel like when they have stars on deck, it's too many chefs in the kitchen. When they pull it back again, they actually play better footy, in my opinion. Tommy, you got Teddy out back taking a lot of ball out of, those boys' hands there, out the back of shape. Sammy Walker is a guy that heavily relies on ball in hand. DCE is going to have to take a step back to allow him to play that game.
I think he does.
You reckon?
I think he's in his glory years now, and he will not see it as an ego hit. And I hate to admit it that he's going to be a better player for it, and just go back to just playing sort of that 5'8" role, that second fiddle, just play it as it comes. The pressure's not on you to do something. And I feel like you'll benefit from it. I really think the Roosters will find that combination with those two boys together.
Just quickly, shout out to Wonderland. Ruben, my man. $10 donation to the boys. Shout out to you, brother. I love the live, brothers. Thank you so much, my bro. And I was going to read it out a little bit earlier. He's got DC as the GOAT. So Ruben's now become a Roosters fan because I know how Ruben goes about these things. He jumps off Manly shit when they go on shit house. So shout out to Ruben, eh?
About Manly being the winner.
No, but back to that chat though. Like, did you feel like when we got to State of Origin, especially in these last couple of years, that DC probably overplayed his hand playing next to Munster?
100%.
So, like, do you think that, and that was it last year, and then he ended up getting shifted out because of that?
Yep.
Do you think?
Know why I think he's done that? Is an ego thing where the pressure is on that he's the one that he's got his head on the chopping block. Never Munster,
Yeah.
even though Munster's coming into Origin sometimes not in the best form. It's never, oh, are we dropping Munster? It's always, oh, Cherry Evans, Cherry Evans. They're looking to push him out. So he's
Yep.
playing with that chip on his shoulder. He's overplaying his hand. I feel like going to a big club like the Roosters, the spotlight's off him a little bit. And I feel like he'll
Yep.
benefit from that a lot.
So you've got them second,
I've got them
and
second.
I've got them fifth. I think that's good enough for putting them into the top 4 currently right now between the two of us.
You want to go fourth?
We'll go 4th for now because we got to fill out top 4. We'll put them in that 3rd position, obviously, for now, and we'll work that out. And then we'll figure out who's going to mix it and match it with them up there. Again, they've got the ability for me to get up into these positions that we speak of. It's just like, for me, I want to see it first, I guess. And it's hard to predict that off the back of that. Last but definitely not least, we got the West Tigers. Really depending on how you feel about the West Tigers and how they're going coming into this year. Obviously, a little bit, again, they had off-season dramas as they usually do. They just can't get it all together. But the team list on paper has gotten better, in my opinion. Like, there is positive signs there, but is it positive enough to get them to where they want to go? I've got the Tigers nailed on for 13th on my ladder. I've got the ability for them to go to 10th and the ability for them to go to last. What do you got?
You see the Jazzy Tavanga shout out in the chat.
If Jazzy was playing for the Seagulls, where would the Seagulls be finishing?
Definitely not last, my brother.
Shout out to Jazzy Tavanga.
I would definitely have the Dragon Spooners over them if Jazzy was still there. Shout out to Jazzy Tavanga.
What do you reckon, though? Brother, the Tigers, how you feeling about the Tigers this season? Again, I've got a nailed 13th. They got the ability to go 10th, but the ability to go last for me.
Yeah, slight improvers. I don't see them getting the spoon. I feel like they're slowly but surely building something there. Culture, if not anything. So the best I see them finishing is 10th. I don't see them cracking that 8. I don't see them sort of just missing that 8. I feel like there's going to be a pretty big gap between 9th and lower. So I think the Tigers, for me, was best of 10th and worst 16th. And I think that we'll see the Tigers finishing in 15th.
All right. So,
but I've got, for the sake of our ladder here, I'll happily split them between the Titans and the Knights.
Okay. So you're higher on the Titans than the Tigers this year?
Yes.
So,
and that for me is coaching.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that with Hene coming in. So I'm excited to see KPP on an edge there to obviously share some minutes there. Not that excited with KPP?
Doesn't do it for me, brother.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I think he is a good signing for the Tigers, but it's still not enough to, Bo Fermor for me is a gun. I like Bo Fermor at the Titans. I like Tino. I like Mo. I still like those type of guys that give me that edge over the Tigers. I love JC.
Samuel Afanu, does he do that for you?
He does, bro. He does. He's a killer.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see it with the coaching sort of thing. And when we're going halves for halves, like Luai and Dewey versus JC and Brimson, there's
whoever.
Bye. Fullback, you got Keeney versus Buller. I would have Keeney.
So, still exciting. I love Buller, but yeah, Keeney.
Yeah.
They're
both good.
It comes down to the coaching for me. I'm not set on Marshall.
Yeah, I can see that, bro. I can see that.
I think they're just trying to push it, as opposed to actually getting what the Tigers need as a coach.
Yep. All right. So what that does, so we'll need 3 teams here. That would move the Titans up to this position here, correct?
Nah, we need 4 down there still, brothers.
So 13, 14, 15, 16.
Come on, Ash.
What do you mean?
13, 14, 15, 16 is 4 numbers.
13, 14, 15. Yeah, you're 100% right. I was just adding up from there. Oh my God. Here we go.
Look away.
Yeah, don't you dare take away your $10 either, Ruben, mate. You keep it out there, right? I need all the money I can get.
Don't hold it against him, all right? He's half Kiwi at the end of the day. Just kidding.
All right. This is where it gets tough. So we need a team to go to the top 4.
Okay.
Out of all these teams here. So we got the Rabbitohs, the Storm, the Dogs, the Dolphins, the Sharks, the Warriors. I don't have Dolphins, Sharks, Warriors in my top 4. I don't see the ability just yet. The Dolphins maybe can crack top 4. You said the Sharkies possibly top 4 as well, right?
Yep. All right. I think the best way to do this, let's process elimination on the Rabbitohs to start with, right?
Okay.
I've got them locked and loaded, my top 4. You've got them missing
Yep,
the top
missing.
8.
Yep, 9.
So I think straight away we shift them to the middle, if not the back end of the top 8.
Tell me when.
Probably there for
Okay,
now. Now let's go to
beautiful.
the Storm.
Yep,
I've got the Storm finishing between 4th and 7th.
and I've got them 4th right now, and they can go 3rd to 6th.
Right, so we leave them there for now.
Yep.
I've got
The
the Doggies
Dogs,
slightly
8th.
worse than Melbourne. I've got them best at 4th and worst at 8th.
Yep. I've got the Dogs 1st to 5th.
1st to 5th.
Yep.
So we jump Melbourne here.
I think so.
Okay. Dolphins.
Yep. I've got them 5th to 10th, and I've nailed them on for 6th.
5th to 10th. I've got them 3rd to 8th. So
Okay.
I've got them a little higher ceiling than Melbourne, but a little lower base than Melbourne.
Yep.
So
Probably
take
can
what you
stay
want
where
from that.
they are. Yeah, probably can stay where they are. What you got them nailed onto?
I had them nailed on 6 as well.
Okay, so we both had them 6. So 5th, 6th, 7th. I had Melbourne 4th. You had Melbourne
7th.
7th. Yeah, so these two are just interchangeable.
Okay. Sharkies.
Sharkies, I had them 8th. The ability to go to 5th and the fall to 10th. And you got them pretty high. You had them
At a
top 4,
4th
didn't you? Yep.
with not missing the 8.
Okay. The Rabbitohs were 4th and not missing 4 either.
Yeah.
For you.
So
Okay,
I
so
don't think the Sharkies can jump the Rabbits here.
No.
Oh, Waz?
I had them 5th to 10th as well in that range.
How long is Metz and Barnett out for?
Round 8 for Metcalf. Barney's round 1.
Okay.
Chanel's should be back round 1. Like, it's just a little bit injury crowd over preseason. The biggest one that we're waiting on would be Tamani Martin and Luke Metcalf. Tanner Boyd will have to hold on to the ship till rounds 7 or 8.
Okay. Let's
So he needs
start
to do
with
enough there.
pushing one of those first 3 teams into the 4. Who do
Okay.
you think we're going to go with?
For me, I would be sturdy to say the Dogs. I think
Over
Dogs.
Melbourne?
I think the Dogs have had the less disruptive preseason.
Yeah.
I think the Dogs, system-wise, at the moment, for me, just like fills me with confidence. I think during the regular season, you would get more wins than losses and sitting within that top 4 like you had for the couple of years past.
Okay. Would you
know what I
say
mean?
we're
You're the best
upticking as
team 2 years
opposed
ago.
to-
What was that?
Would you say we're upticking more than Melbourne?
I would say so.
You take
As an upwards
Eligibilty out,
trend.
you're down ticking straight away, right?
Exactly.
I agree. I think out of those 3, I'm happy to push the Dogs into 4th.
The only question mark I have with the Dogs is that half sparing. That's it. But you shown last year you're able to do it without that.
Yeah. And, Sean O'Sullivan played a brilliant trial there, so I'm confident we got some depth there. And then Mitch Wood's not far behind.
Yeah. Seeing Melbourne outside top 4 worries me as always, but it's...
Not
I
this
think
year. Something's different this year.
You just feel it, right? No Nelson too, by the way. I feel like Nelson's gone missing is still... Like, he never saw him too much last year, but that's still a thing.
All right. What does the
right.
chat think? Give us a bit of help here.
Yeah, chat, what do you got? So, that was the Tiger stuff a little bit early on from Jazzy. Yeah. Ruben has... You put the Manly at the bottom, lol.
All right. Panthers,
Okay,
Broncos,
Jazzy's...
Storm, Chooks. I can see it.
I can see the Storm too.
So
I feel...
You're happy with that top 4 in that order?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that order. You'd
I
have
think
the
so
Roosters over the Broncos, but I think the Broncos are good enough to go again.
I think
like
so
not
too, with
go
the home
again, but
advantage and stuff they get.
yeah,
We're set on Storm, Dolphins.
yeah.
Okay.
I yeah. Yeah. I think that there's more chance for me that the Dolphins will I'm thinking now about the Dolphins and the Rabbits.
Can you think the Dolphins behind the Rabbits?
A little bit, only because when the Rabbitohs click, they've got more of the ability there. But then
I,
again, the Dolphins team list is nice too. And that number 7, that's a big thing for me right now. Like
for the Rabbits.
for the Rabbits comparatively to the Dolphins, like Isaiah Qatar versus.
I think the Dolphins stay ahead of the Rabbits
Okay,
after our
we'll lock that
discussion
in.
points. I feel like they knocked off enough good teams last year,
Yep,
and they'll do enough damage to the lower teams this season to finish higher than they should have last year.
yep. Jose's got Pars, Bras, Roosters, Storm.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. I can see it as well. I would feel a lot more confident chucking. Oh no, I wouldn't. With Eli Katoa and Paps gone from Melbourne,
Mm,
they're down ticking a little bit for me. And we finished top 4 last year,
yep,
and we're upticking this year with recruitment.
agreed. I know Leo's going to take a little bit of time to get in there. And there's still the worry of Lockie Galvin. If he is playing 7 this year and you're going to lock in Galvin and Burton as your 7-6. But I don't know if that's waiting for Mitch Woods to come in. I don't know what the. No one knows. That's the one thing that worries me there. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Defensively, you're the best team in the competition defensively. You've got Stephen Crichton on the left side attacking edge next to kick out. I think your attacking uptick goes there too.
All right, top 6, I think I'm locked.
Yep.
Metzi, round 6, you reckon?
Round 7.
Who
I would
have
be
you
happy
got
with.
in the first 6 games?
All right.
This is the only time I'm going to look at the rotation here because I feel like it's going to matter a lot to lock in that 7th and 8th spot.
Shout out to my mum in the chat too, by the way. Thank
Shout
you
out
so
to
much, mum.
Shelly.
All
And take
right.
you for a ride on the jet ski, Shell.
She'll love that. All right. We got the Roosters first off.
Yeah.
Tough first game. But if you're going to get the Roosters in any game, I'd rather in first game of the season.
100%.
Over in Auckland. We play the Raiders in Auckland.
So both games Auckland?
Yep. We play the Knights at McDonald Jones in Newcastle.
All right. So I want to say 2 wins guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed. 2 wins on a higher chance of winning.
Yep. We got the Tigers back in Auckland.
3.
Then we got the Sharks in Sydney.
Okay.
Then we got Melbourne in Melbourne.
That's 6.
And we've got the Titans in Auckland.
So I think you guys have a good chance of going 4 out of 7 or better.
All right. And we'll move to the Sharky start. So they got the Titans in Sydney.
No. We don't need anybody else to start.
Oh, we don't need anyone else to start?
We
You don't want to know?
Sell me.
They got the Panthers at Bathurst. They got the Dolphins at Sydney. They got the Raiders at Canberra. They got us. They got the Roosters at Perth. And then they've got the Cowboys.
All right.
At Townsville.
Rabbits.
The Rabbits, they have got Dolphins at Suncorp. Roosters at Allianz. Tigers at Gosford. They got you guys at a core. And they go travel to Perth for the Raiders. And they're back at a core for the Dragons. Then they play Melbourne and Melbourne. They play you guys, the Roosters. They're all big emotional matchups. And they travel to Perth within that period as well. Same as the Sharkies. The Sharkies travel to Perth this year. And they play the Panthers, the Dolphins.
Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do here. And I think my argument is around these first 6, 7 games in particular, because that's when the Wilds will be back to full strength. And I think full strength, you guys are out and out top 8 team.
Okay.
I think you will get enough wins to stay with the pack in that first 7 rounds. I think you will win at least 4 out of those 7. And I think the Sharkies will probably potentially only win 3 out of that 7. So you got the uptick on them there. Lukey Metz comes back. Let's touch wood. It's completely injury-free.
Yep.
I think he's roll into that 8 spot fairly comfortably. And I will happily drop the Sharks out to 9th.
Okay.
Also, the All Stars game and Indigenous game did not sell me on the Sharks halves pairing.
Okay.
But that 7th, 8th, 9th spot is very, very tight for my
It's
liking.
so up for the air. All right, so that's going to be
start, bro, really well to not lose touch with the pack and then have to come late in the season, because late in the season the Wars get a bit of fatigue from all the travel, get a few injuries under their belt, and that's when it will become even tougher. So you guys really do need to start that season well, and I think you can. I really do.
And we get affected by Origin as well this year if Kurt Capewell and Barney go off to Origin, and depending on how everything plays out there too. But we want to lock that top in at top 8 in.
I'm happy if you're happy.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy to always see my boys in the top 8, but I know it's a tight competition and it feels weird to leave the Sharkies out. I think the Rabbitohs and that jumping up is just the big deal. I just can't see the Dolphins falling out of the 8 for me right now either. So no. It's really on the edge there.
I'm only going Cronulla because they've just, like you said, they're very plateau. And I feel like they're vulnerable for teams to go to that next level and beat them out for that spot.
Well, there was a period last year I thought they were going to miss the 8. I think it only came in a little bit mid to late where they had that that Knights game, and they kicked on a little bit further from that when the Knights were at that point.
Game at Cronulla and they rolled Melbourne.
Yeah, so I think that if they have those times again this year, it might be rocky. Are we happy with that 9th to 12th role here?
I think so.
Okay, beautiful.
I would
13th.
Make a case for swapping Cowboys and the Eels. I think Heilum Lukey is a big plus for the Cowboys. McLean retiring, get another youngster coming through. Parramatta, if Moses goes down, they're back to playing that very vulnerable young spine.
Agreed.
I would probably swap the Cowboys and the Eels here.
Okay. I wasn't crazy high on Parramatta comparatively.
And you think back lines, Murray to Alungi, the loss of Lomax for the Eels. I would happily swap those two around.
Okay. And did you have the Eels above the Cowboys previously? Because I did too.
I did by one spot, but I also had Canberra behind both of them, and I'm happy with Canberra in front of both of them.
Yeah. The more we talk, the more I'm kind of getting to that too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. We'll lock it in. We've got to be risk takers, Bella. You know what I mean? Like, we've risk taken here with the Manly Sea Eagles. I know it's just, I think we're doing good. I think this is good. How are we feeling? How are we feeling?
Chat? Odds?
How are we feeling, guys? Odds on.
Do you feel like this is respectful? Is there anything we've missed discussion-wise?
Yeah. Like, there's all, again, guys, you can come out with all the arguments at all if you are a part of that fan base of, like, the Sharkies. If Hines and Trindle come together, bang, Adam Fanor, Blake leads from the front. He's unreal. The Raiders, like, your forward pack's one of the most dominant forward packs in the competition. The Cowboys, you're right up there. Then you go to, obviously, your top 8s. You got, as we discussed, if the Rabbitohs click, the Rabbitohs are a major player in this game. It's just seeing if they click, basically. Yeah. The Dolphins 100%. Click, they're good. The Melbourne Storm, there's so many arguments here for people to fall out and fall in, but I think we've nailed this. I think we've done as close as we could. And it's obviously so hard to pick a wooden spooner, but as we discussed earlier on, I think there's a lot more frailties with Manly than there is with the Dragons.
100%. And that's like not even just the team on paper, that's rolling back to the club and how the club's at right now with their coaching staff, with their board. So
yeah.
Let
us know, guys. Let us know how you feel out there. Again, guys, if you missed out on any of the stream today, feel free to rewind after the show. It does put up on YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy the content as well. A massive shout out to Ruben for the $10 as well today. That's going to go to the Las Vegas Kitty. As you guys know, me and Brody are going to Las Vegas at the end of this year in October. Las Vegas. We're going to America. Why do I keep saying Las Vegas? Because Vegas is coming up very shortly. Yeah. So we are going to America, guys. So we do appreciate the donation there from Ruben. It's going to go straight towards that. But what a great little show there, bro. Ladder prediction. You got to see kind of where our heads are at. There's a lot of different ways this ladder can go, and I'm sure we're going to come back to it and be like, we were well off on certain things. But
100%.
What out of all? Yeah, 100%. Out of all the teams that we got up here, bro, like, who are the one team that you look at and go, I just pray they have a good season this season?
I think it's the Bunnies.
Yeah,
The Bunnies, Wayne. Everyone wants to see Wayne do well. Everyone wants to see Wayne have another historic year. You know, some people hate the Bunnies, but I think, you know, they're one of those clubs that are just so rich in history, and everybody wants to see them do well.
yeah.
I'd love to see it, and I'd love to see the Titans do well.
100%. 100%. I think they're the two that I'm looking at. I'd love the Cowboys to get back up there again. Like, you know, I thought
I
Todd
don't like
Payton.
the Cowboys. They're nothing but wingers.
I
But
like Todd Payton as a coach.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what's going on up there, but they need to sort that out. But I agree with you. The Rabbitohs is great to see because I know their box office and they're a fun team to watch play football. I think the Cowboys are a fun team to watch play football, and I think the Titans are a very fun team to watch play football. So I want to see that. I want to see that get to the big stage.
100%, brother.
All right, my
100%.
man. Anything more you want to touch on before we go, guys? Any Supercoach questions or anything you want to go? We only got probably a couple of minutes left before we jump off.
Yeah, hit us
But
in the
it's
chat if you got anything else. We got nothing else structured tonight, but next
no,
week, look out for the headline: Dogs in Vegas. All right, that's what's going to be on the live stream. Get keen. We're going to
100%.
talk a lot of Supercoach, and we're going to really start rolling into the team list for round one. Obviously, it's a short week, so we'll be able to talk a lot of Supercoach because we'll only go through the 2 games team list.
Yeah,
But yeah, talk about all the pre-game spectacular stuff leading into Vegas. So get keen. Honestly, Supercoach guys, be ready next week for tips, tricks. Bring your notepads. Me and Ash will probably steal some off you guys as well for sure because we're a little bit of a loss this year. But no, very keen to have a chat next week and get ready for round one.
yeah. Nah, Jose. Yeah, we'll jump to your team next week, my brother. I got 2 teams sent here from Jose. I've just checked into the chat. He's jumped into the chat. Let me know.
Give us 3 good players out of it, Ash, that you think are dead on. And then next week
Okay.
we'll review it properly, brother. And then Tahi, bro, send in yours.
He's got someone that I've actually jumped onto because of the new points changing stuff, and we'll talk more about it next week. Isaiah Yo is one.
Okay.
Tackle wise, those stats are going to go up now. So
like it.
players like Isaiah Yo's and stuff are going to get a little bit more of a kickback. Kale Ito, another one.
Love it.
Centers this year, bro. Centers all day, every day, even on Sunday. And the last one, ooh, interesting on how you feel with this one. He has got Makasini there for the Tigers. Great pick. It looks like he's nailed on a wing position. Gerald Skelton's under an injury cloud from what I've heard as well. But the kid is an absolute superstar. I love what I'm seeing out of him at the moment. Have you seen much of Makasini yet?
I did see his trial. Yeah, very, very impressive. So, you know, Clancy's pretty high on him as well. Thinks that he's going to steal that jersey from injury-prone Skelton, unfortunately.
Yep. That's
cool. 3 good little shouts there. We'll review that next week. Maybe a couple other boys, if you send in your teams, we'll have some time next week to go through them as well.
100%, bro. 100%.
Jazzy had a question for you somewhere up in the chat, brother.
What we got? Where we at, Jazzy?
Can't see which one he meant, though.
Would have had to be a little bit earlier here. Off the top of it.
Prediction.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but said he had a question.
Okay. I got the one here where Jazzy has off the top of his head due to some thought and edit. I have Penrith, Broncos, Storm, Chooks. So we just had the Dogs over the Chooks there. Dogs, Finns, Bunnies, Waz. Basically what we had.
Yep.
Sharks, Raiders, Tigers, Dragons. Cowboys, Eels, Manly, Knights, Titans as the Wooden Spoons.
Titans, Wooden Spoon is a massive one there. Other than that, I can't argue with a lot of that. The top 8's the exact same.
Yeah. And I didn't see a question earlier, brother. I'm trying to go up. At the moment, I have the Eels in the 14, but not confident with them sitting there as Rolsey comes from a successful background.
Yeah, I think the Eels are on an uptick for sure with Rolsey there coming from that Melbourne system.
Yeah, I'm not sure if YouTube's just not put up your chat there, Jazzy, my bro. But if you got the question quickly before we go, my man, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. But yeah, it's give us some of your names that you're looking at Supercoach right now. Give me 2. Give me 2.
You want predictable or unpredictable?
Unpredictable.
Keanu Kinney
Yep.
is a lock and load.
Yep.
And let's see what I've got for you. Go. Let's dive deep. Oh shit! I'm in draft. Get out.
We can draft some sides.
'Cause
And
we're-
Jazzy, yeah, I did see you there. He's yeah, my question disappeared, but I was asking ... So he'll be typing away.
And my other sneaky or what if is Jacob Preston.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I think he's in for a big year. Does that dependent on Lockie Galvin at 7 or not?
No, that's just lock and load.
Lock and load. Beautiful.
I'm gonna have to do a little bit of changing though, because after some discussions tonight and after seeing Ethan Sanders not named, I'm not confident to have him in that reserve. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of playing around there.
Yeah, I can go deep into right now. I was right there about to say who I've got there, but wait and see. Cody Walker's someone I've got in that 6 jersey at the moment too. At the moment, he's holding position.
I think he's most value for a 5'8" this year behind Jonah Peasant.
I agree.
All
right. Jazzy's question. All right, this is going to be the last one before we go. With all the genuine young talent coming through, do you genuinely see Capes making the Maroon squad this year? So we'll put this, frame this as you said, the young talent come through. Hill and Lukey's able to play Origin this year if he's injury free. Dave Fafita's able to play injury free. Tom Gilbert's back if he plays in the middle. Ruben Cotter's there, obviously. Nanai, Brenton Nikita if he plays for us. Bo Fermor. I would say that Capes probably just misses out this year if everyone's full on deck, ready to go. I think Capes is going to be that Superman when everything goes to shit. He'll come back in, he'll steer the ship again.
The last few years for sure.
Pretty much. Flegler, Plath, yeah, these forwards, there's a lot of good forwards that are coming back from injury or hopefully come in fit and raring to go. But yeah, I'd say no. Your thoughts?
Yeah, spot on, brother. I agree.
Yeah, that's it. And Nas, I think Capes will be there. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. He's one of those guys you got to keep around.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. 100%, brother. All right, anything more before we go, brother?
That's all for me, brother.
Massive show tonight, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I know that, obviously, a lot of prediction, a lot of good chat there. I made sure to clip that up, and hopefully I can repost it a little bit later on this week, guys. So make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And for this weekend, guys, up the mighty New Zealand Warriors. And for Vegas next week, hope your doggies go well, my brother.
I appreciate it, brother. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Laters.